Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News, and VCT Masters begins later on today, but so much to dive into. This Ethan to Sentinels rumour somehow has gained traction over the last 24 hours. The Sentinels guys responding though, shutting down any of these claims. But very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. Really upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. T-minus 24 hours like Optic until they get underway. Of course, well, 3 teams play matches today. We'll look at that at the end of the video. Plenty to dive into before we get to that point. 5 days though until the bracket stage, so we currently have 8 teams in the group stages. That will go down to 4 in about 4 days time, and then after that the bracket begins, where the Guard, as the number 1 seed from North America, will be playing their first game after winning the playoffs in the North American side. This just to mention real quick about Masters, because very interestingly and strangely, to be honest, as Chet says from Optic, the coach of that team, 250 plus scrims, 5-day quarantine, 2 months for qualification, all to just be put into a basement. Thank you, Riot. Not sure why he's here or why the team is here, but this is clearly his kind of setup, right, as kind of the coaching staff or whatever. Maybe to his left is where the players are, because of course there's no fans at this event, but you thought there'd have been a nice venue, right, that they could look at. I'm not really sure what the plan is going to be, but for some reason he's down here, and even explains actually in the replies that Sean Gare says this just practice, right, because maybe this is a kind of the practice setup that the team and the coaching staff has, but for matches it will be somewhat different. And Sean is like, look, are you in an entirely different location from the players or just in a different room? Is it for competitive integrity reasons or what exactly is going on right here? And Chet says matches 2 floors down. So I guess the players are going to be in a proper venue, right, and set up, I guess, on the stage or whatever, but there's no room seemingly there for the coaches as there was, I guess, the last time they did it at Champions. The coach are going to be sitting off to the sides. So he's stuck down here while his team plays up on the main stage 2 floors up, kind of, watching, and he can go in for timeouts and stuff. Bit strange, right, not to have him like right there personally, can actually kind of speak to the players, at least, being close vicinity to them. I guess that's a little bit different than being 2 floors away, but yeah, interesting decision, I guess, from the guys organising this. Chet doesn't seem particularly happy, but I guess it affects everyone at the end of the day that is coaching. Just to mention this real quick, Dynamic, he's been spotted scrimming with T1 as of late. He's signed a contract officially, still says, I hope not T1, so maybe implying that might be exactly what is going down. Just also this from Masters, the prize pool has been kind of, well, not exactly confirmed, but Purist leaks it. The prize pool is $650,000 per source. First place 200k, second place 120k. I feel like in general these prize pools are smaller than I would expect them to be for tournaments of this caliber. I feel like all the Masters events and Champions certainly should be at least in excess of $1 million, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It doesn't affect us fans, I suppose, and the players in general are probably making enough money from salaries to make it work. But still back in the day, the players generally had to, winning a prize money in a LAN back in like 2009 was actually how you made your living, right? But of course nowadays, not too much of a concern. Not really sure why this stuff doesn't get announced officially. Maybe it has been, honestly, but Purist was just kind of the first to come out with it. Let's talk about this 100 Thieves stuff. Rumor has it right now, Hiko and Ethan gone, Will, Stella, Derek, Asuna and Bang, the current team of 5 they're practicing with. We saw yesterday that Ethan probably wasn't still scrimming with them, so maybe they still decide to make a change. They have some time to think about what they plan to do. Masters is coming up, then right at the start of May, pretty much end of April, is when the qualification begins for stage 2 of Challengers, where they're going to have to start from scratch. Now, of course, if Ethan is gone, you'd imagine he wants to get a team spot elsewhere, and we discussed yesterday the possibility of is there any trade opportunity on the market? Is there another team that could bring him in? And I talked yesterday a purely speculation of okay, could Sentinels work if Sick goes to the smokes? Could Zombs be out and Ethan comes in? That was pure speculation with nothing backing it at all. All of a sudden, rumors about the possibility of this actually start to come out. As Noyan says right here, it looks like Sentinels are training without Zombs. Some roles will change within the team. Goes on to say apparently Ethan is playing in place of Zombs, can't be sure. So this comes out, don't know if any of this has any backing at all, or it is just literally pure speculation. And of course, well, now this is on the timeline, and kind of the journalists are looking into this, thinking, okay, talking to sources, is this actually going on, or is this just pure fake news? George Geddes says this is the first he's hearing about it. Interesting though, I've been told this news is wrong. So seemingly that's not the case. It would surprise me if Sentinels were making a change, but at the same time, if Ethan is there as a free agent, then maybe that's the way to go. To be honest, I don't think Zombs is necessarily the problem with that Sentinels squad. Not sure there is a one-man problem that you fix. Then again, in terms of pure firepower, Zombs has never been great in that role, so maybe there's an upgrade you can make if you make a team change or whatever they might plan to do. But of course, you're probably not going to do that unless there's a big name free agent on the market, and Ethan could be that big name free agent. So not out of the realms of possibility that it crosses their minds, but still interesting this was even talked about as a possibility. Now, Zombs and Ethan actually come back in reply to this, and Zombs just says, congrats Ethan, welcome to the team. And Ethan says, thanks, can't wait to play with you. So I can't really understand Valorant pros, because in other esports, if pros say something like this basically confirms it's not going to be true at all. Or if they say something like this, it just confirms there's nothing to do with this, and it's it's completely fake news, which probably is the case, right? Just reading this, like, it probably makes it sound like you'd imagine they wouldn't be tweeting this if it was actually the case that Ethan was coming in instead of Zombs. At the same time, though, you could say the same thing for the tweet that, you know, Steel did in reply to Dynamic saying, please not T1, when we believe he's going to T1. So I don't really know how to read into all this stuff a lot of the time. The pros like to troll on the timeline, and I guess they're seeing this, thought it was kind of funny, and decided to reply to it. And ShahZaM also makes his thoughts clear. I'll show the clip for you guys right here. Basically, people were asking him on stream about is Sentinels Ethan a thing, and ShahZaM basically said, yeah, no, that's not the case. Don't know why you guys keep talking about it.
I don't know why people keep saying Sen Ethan.
Silky Grove.
It's not a thing. I'm sorry to disappoint. Maybe he's trying to improve his negotiations, but with a different team, but it's not a thing.
You've never bought armor, by the way.
Come back, I can heal you.
Oh.
But having said this, there are even further indications that something like this might be going on. Of course, there's a press conference yesterday, and Vanity was having a good time watching it from home, I suppose. But on Vanity's stream last night, this was noticed on the right-hand side. You guys can see it. Well, Sentinels, Sick, and dapr, both in a custom game 0-0. You might imagine they're, you know, playing a scrim, right? If they're in customs playing together, could be, you know, 0-0 would indicate they're playing against someone or other. And then Sentinels Zombs is he's 7-2 in a competitive. So kind of interesting, right? Of course, it might be the case that Sick and dapr are just like hopping into a custom game or something to test something out, while Zombs is playing a kind of a rank play match. But it still does make you wonder a little bit, right? That okay, if Sick and dapr and Zombs have been seen in separate parties, then maybe Zombs is actually playing with those guys. Might not be the case. So who knows? Maybe Sentinels Ethan isn't a thing, but maybe you know, another Sentinels player is a thing. Like people talked about Scuba as an option, and you know, maybe Zombs is out of the team anyway, even if Ethan isn't coming in to replace him. So tough to read into all this stuff, but these are the hints that are coming out right now. Some people saying it's happening and Zombs is gone. Ethan might be in. The journalists and kind of the players themselves denying it, but then some maybe in further indications like this that maybe something is happening at Sentinels. They've got to decide what they want to do, of course. Not all that long to figure things out. And this, of course, as Zombs says, yes, I'm on MIBR now, right? So, of course, Zombs, like, he's had good relationships over the last few months, especially with champions. To the Brazilian scene, he's at, well, making the most of those relationships. Yeah, the Brazilian scene in general, I guess, wants to see Zombs out here. If he does go out, I'm sure the timeline will be popping up as a result. But, you know, as I said, not sure Zombs was necessarily the problem with that team if they do decide to make a change. But a change, if results continue as they have been, is probably brewing sooner rather than later. Before we talk champions, we've got to close the loop on GameChangers. That concluded last night. Cloud9 White, again, they win the tournament pretty comfortably. Like, they had that crazy close series where Mel got that ridiculous 4K to close things out in the winners' finals. They then go to the grand finals, though, and straight up dominate them. Cloud9 White, 4-peats, GameChangers champions. So, yeah, phenomenal performance. And, yeah, this is the bracket, right? They didn't lose a single map all tourney. They went to overtime in this first map against Shopify Rebellion on, I believe it was the game 1 on Binds. After that, they just pretty much dominated everyone. So very tough for any team to even get close to these girls right now. And I'm pretty sure Mel had the highest stats, even while IGLing the team with something like a 1.52. And I think she quote tweeted something that said, you know, back in maybe when Chamber was announced, that she realized it was going to be a niche pick and maybe not all used all that much. But now she's basically a Chamber 1 trick, right? Just picking at every single map, going plus 32. Like, yeah, phenomenal series from her once again. So just dominant all across the board from Cloud9 as per usual. And let's talk about champions there. So Don't Survive, Thrive, say G2. They don't have to play yet. They have the #1 seed from the European side. They will therefore go with the guards to the second round, as we shall look at. That's in a few days' time. But this so far are the matches. So coming up later today, there are 3 games, 1 from Group A, 2 from Group B. DRX plays Zeta Division, Optic Gaming plays Xerxia, and then Crew versus Liquid. Very important games, of course. You win 2 before you lose 2. You make it out in the bracket. You lose 2 before you win 2. You don't make it out at all. You have to go home early. So Optic Xerxia, that's exciting. The kind of Envy team versus X10 Crit, repeat of their game. Crew versus Liquid, I think, to me, is the matchup of the day. Want to see how well Crew Esports can do. I think they have a lot of potential this tourney to make a very solid run. Can Liquid kind of perform anywhere near as well as they're going to need to take down Crew? Winners round 2 is going to be tough for whatever team makes it through. And of course, the winner of DRX Zeta Division will play the winner of Fnatic versus Ninjas in Pyjamas coming up on the 12th. Out of these 8 teams, then 4 teams will make it through to the second stage of bracket play, where they will be seeded in alongside these 4 squads. G2, The Guard, Paper Rex, and Loud, the #1 seed from all the respective regions. They shall then face off against these guys over the coming days. And at the end of it all, a champion will be crowned. So very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hitting the like button, tells your YouTube gods this is a good video. I don't like you should see it as well. And hope grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.
2 ramp. 80 on last ramp. Oh.
Yeah, 1 male still.
Oh!
Hey, it's A pop, I think. I'm flashing through this,
Two aiming. He's there, aiming.
Nice!
This guy's different.
Easy press close.
Oh, I got
Flashing deep.
Let's do tunnel.
Oh
Reyna.
my
No charges left.
Gold, he's tunnel. There's one more coming alongside. One more.
3. 1 enemy remaining.
From the Spike GG. Will Turko be playing the first match on Monday? If yes, will Hyber be staying with you for the whole tournament?
First of all, thank you for the question. Yeah, we're looking to hopefully bring in Turko for the first game. So we're going to be coming out guns blazing. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty chilly in here. My balls have shrunk. You know what I mean?
Thank you for that.